Just ignore her. She's just trying to go. Welcome back. For those who missed the class last week, I was traveling. But if you're ready to practice again, make sure you have 2 blocks nearby and perhaps some blanket. If you have sensitive knees, I actually do not have one right now, but if you have sensitive knees, please take your time to get some. And start really on our back. Bring the heels close to your hips. Option to bring the feet as wide as the mat and knock the knees together. You can stay here. And if you'd like to introduce a little bit more chest opening, you can slide the block underneath your sacrum and rest your hips on the block. And just to leave your hands where it's not so distracting for you, preferably palms facing down so you stop receiving too much information from around you. You can adjust the height of the block accordingly, depend on your own need at the moment. And let your gaze getting softened. Even close the eyes. If for whatever reason, keep your eyes open works better for you, do try to find a spot that on the ceiling that you can focus on instead of letting your eyes wandering around. If your hands on the belly, feel the natural rise and fall of your belly along one of those days again, probably because of weather. If you feel adventurous with your breathing, you can slide your hands around your belly, perhaps towards your ribs, perhaps towards your chest, your collarbones. You might notice that different extent of movement on different part of your body. Actually, let me move to data because it seems like my Wi-Fi is not reliable tonight. All right, back to action. So either you are on a block or not, you can stay here if you like to. And hug your left knee into the chest. Interlace your hands in front of your left shin with your left pinky outside for the sake of consistency. If the height of the block does not make sense to you anymore, you can adjust to a lower level. Squeeze your left knee into the chest. Option to extend your right leg long. Pull your elbows toward the ground so you can spread your collarbones toward the sides. Keep deep breathing. And exhale, press the back of your shoulders toward the ground. And bend your right leg in if your right leg is extended. Grab your left ankle with the left hand. Then press the top of the left thigh bone toward the sky. Option to stay here, option to press the top of your left leg into the ground. So your front left hip is being open now. And your left quad is getting stretched. Continue steady and slow breathing. Next, start slowly. You can use the help of your hand to release your left foot. And back to feet close to your sit bones. I'm gonna do the other side. Squeeze your right knee into the chest with your right pinky outside this time. An option to extend your left leg long. Press your shoulders into the ground. Option to stay here. Option to step your left foot back in. And grab your right foot, right ankle with your right hand. Press your right knee toward the front. Press the top of your right thigh toward the sky. Option 2, press the top of your right foot into the ground. Stretching the top of the feet, as well as your right quadriceps. Take a couple long, deep breaths. We're not rushing to anywhere. At the bottom of the next exhale, use the help of your hand to release your right leg. You can come back to the block. You can even lift your hips up toward the sky and slide the block away. But if you like to stay on the block for support, please do so. This is just early stage of practice today, but if you like to change yourself to be a little bit more courageous, slide the block away and press the pelvis toward the sky. Take a deep inhale. Imagine that the block in between your knees and press the pelvis up. And exhale, release your upper back, your mid back, your low back, your tailbone all the way down. Inhale, continue, press the knees toward each other, lift your tailbone up, upper back, shoulders, all the way up, back into bridge pose. Next, exhale, release gradually down toward the ground. Inhale, lift the hips back up. Next, I release it down. And continue on your own. While you are moving up, keep hugging both knees towards each other. And when you're releasing down, notice at which point that you are getting more eager to release down onto the ground. And see where that eagerness is from. Because we know that we're not that higher up from the ground. We're not gonna hurt ourselves. Even if we fall out of the shape. So where is that eagerness from? Last round together. And hug your knees into the chest. You can rock side to side, back and forth, or add any movements that you like to. And come into table pose. In table, make sure your wrists are right underneath your shoulders and your knees right underneath your hips. Take a deep breath in, lower the belly, pull the chest forward, and exhale, round your upper back into cat. Inhale, lower into cow. And exhale, round your upper back. Move through some cycles on your own. You can add some turning around of your hands side to side. Just listen to where your body is calling for the moment. And we practiced isolation, repetition, integration a couple of weeks ago, and then we practiced action a while back. But with all those knowledge that we have, oftentimes is fear that stop us from taking action. Sometimes it's fear of hurting ourselves, which is legit, but sometimes it could be simply we're trapped. And other times could be a fear of missing out something. And we'll practice with that today. Whatever kind of cow and cat you've been practicing, come back to neutral. And extend your left leg long. And rock back and forth, waking up the back of the left leg. Bend your left knee, press your left heel into the sky. Imagine there's a block on top of your left foot. Option to stay here. Option to bring the right hand behind your skull to help to open your right chest. And that's what I was mentioning before, that sometimes the fear is fear of missing out. If you have wrist injuries and this pose does not make sense to you, especially not bring your one hand up. So you should keep your hands down, or you can fist your hands, or you can come down to your elbows. Wherever you are, press the left heel towards the sky. Pull the navel towards the spine. And just as everything else we practice, slow with control. One more time. And this time, re-extend your left leg, rest your left foot behind your right. Kickstand your right shin out, extend your left arm up into a side plank. Extend your left arm by the left ear. The next one is totally optional, but if you a person tend to sit out on things, I do encourage you to try to lift your left foot slightly up. Can be for 1 second, 2 seconds, or can stay up there. Reaching your left fingertips toward the front, your left heel, kick it toward the back. Release the left foot down if you're floated, and use the press of your right hand, come all the way up into a gate pose. Clasp the hands behind you with the left pinky outside. Reach, clasp the hands toward the ground, so puff your chest up. Release the hands and side bend to the left. Right arm by the right ear. Take a deep breath in, reaching toward the back to the right fingertips. Next, exhale, cartwheel both hands down. Bring your left foot, left knee back to center. We'll sit back into the heels. Hands behind you, puff the chest up. Take a deep breath in. Option 2, lift your hips away from the heels, knowing that you're not gonna hurt yourself before your hips back to the ground. They're not that far away. Next, so release the hips down, lift your hips up, and bring your hands back to the front and back to table pose. Move to some cow and cat again if you like to. And whenever you're ready, we'll do the other side. Step your right foot back. Just rock forward and back, waking up the back of the right leg. And getting used to putting weight into the wrist if you don't have wrist injuries. Otherwise, come up onto your fist or your elbows. Float your right leg up. Continue hugging both thigh bones towards the midline. Bend your right knee, kick your right foot up toward the sky. Imagine there's a block at the bottom of your right foot. Continue hugging both thigh bones towards midline. And start shifting weight into the right hand if that's accessible to you. And if you like to try, but you're too afraid to crash onto your face, you can come up onto your left pinkies first. Fingertips first. Maybe start slowly, lift your left hand up. Perhaps grab the back of your head with the left hand. Pull the navel toward the spine, reaching the crown of the head toward the front. And start pressing the right heel toward the sky. So never be afraid to do some small experiments. You're not trapped in that fear. Next time, release your left hand down, extend your right leg, bring the right foot down, extend your left leg out, and float up your right arm. Take a deep inhale, right fingertips reaching long. And exhale, bring the right arm by the right ear, side plank. Option to stay here. And if you like to play, you can come up onto your right toes. You can even float the right toes up for 1 second, 2 seconds, how much ever longer. Or keep it stay in the air. Press the right heel toward the back. Let the right side body grow. And release your right foot down. Press into the left hand. Use the press to help yourself come all the way up into a gate pose. Clasp your hands behind you with your right pinky outside and reach that clasp toward the ground. Pop the chest up. Press into the pinky edge of the right foot. Imagine that you're a parachute. And open the arms again. Side bend to the right. Right hand on the right leg. Left arm by the left ear. Take a deep breath in. Let the left side body grow. And exhale, curl your both hands down. Bring the right knee back to center. Sit onto your heels. Hands behind you. Puff the chest up. We'll revisit this shape over and over through the practice today. So anytime you like to try to lift your hips up, even a tiny bit, keep hugging the knees towards each other. Spread the collarbones. And exhale, sit back into your heels and hands down. Tuck your back toes, bring your hands a handprint forward and press your heels up into a downward facing dog. If this is first down dog of yours today, take your time to pedal through one leg and another. You can also rock forward into a high plank and come back to a downward facing dog. And as I was mentioning before, sometimes there's fear of missing out. If down dog does not work for you, you can always coming down to child pose or table. As we kept stressing, all these postures is not the whole of yoga, as long as the shape that serves as the purpose of your mind practice. So if you tend to be a person always afraid of missing out something, it might be a good moment for you to sit back and listen to what your body actually needs. From downward facing dog, bend into legs, step, looking between the hands, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. And hand to heart center. Close eyes briefly. And you'll notice that you start to, your attention starts shifting once you close the eyes. Especially with like unknowing. You don't know what is next step. You have nothing to focus on. And once you're ready, start slowly blink open the eyes. We'll practice Surya Namaskar B today. If you have any other kind of salute practice, please go for it. Otherwise, inhale, sit into chair. We'll move through first round together slowly. In chair, make sure your knees are not passing your big toes. We're going our thigh bones to be parallel to the ground, but towards that direction, you not necessarily have to do that. Bring the arms by the ears. And exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen spine, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, hands down, step left and right into a high plank. If this does not work for you, you can release your knees down, and you can also bring your hands into the variation that I provided before. Take a deep inhale in this high plank. And the exhale, knees up or down, hugging your elbows in, bend through the elbows. You can release all the way down to the ground. Inhale, lift your chest up, baby cobra. And also extend the arms straight into upward facing dog. And exhale, tuck your toes, push your tailbones up. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot to your left thumb. Spin down your right heel. Arms by the ears, come all the way up. Bending the left leg. Warrior one, Rapid Adjustment one. Same as chair pose, our left thigh goes toward the ground, but not necessarily have to be parallel to the ground. Continue pressing into the pinky edge of the right foot and turn your pelvis toward the front, which requires you hugging both thigh bones toward the midline again. Next, hands down, step your left foot back. We move through the chaturanga. Again, you can lower down all the way to your belly, the baby cobra. You can also halfway. Then inhale, pull your chest forward into upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your right foot to your right thumb. Spin down your left heel. Arms by the ears, rise all the way up. Warrior one. Next, hands down. Step your right foot back. Move through chaturanga again. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. So all those chaturanga is a lot of textation on our wrist. So if you like to skip it, please go for it. You can also replace it with baby camel that we did earlier. Just sit on your heels, hands behind you, and pop your chest up. A couple more rounds of breathing here. If you're in downward facing dog, in this pause moment, turn your bicep forwards and press your heels up. Press your tailbones up and press your heels toward the ground. At the bottom for next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit into chair. Uttanasana. Exhale, sit all the way up. Hand through heart center, Tadasana. We flow together one more time. Sit in the chair, Uttanasana. And exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs, then step left and right into a high plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, move through chaturanga or to your belly, then push into baby cobra. You can also directly push into upward facing dog. Next, downward facing dog. Step left foot to left thumb, spin down your right heel. Press into the pinky edge of the right foot. Rise all the way up, warrior one. And hands down. Step left foot back. Move to a vinyasa of your choice. Step your right foot to the front, spin down your left heel. Bend into the right leg, rise all the way up into warrior one. And exhale, hands down. Step your right foot back. Take a deep breath in and in high plank. And exhale, move to chaturanga or other vinyasa of your choice. We're all meet in a pause in downward facing dog. Press the chest toward the thigh bones. Evenly press into your knuckles, the corners of your palms. At the bottom of the next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sit into chair. Exhale, come all the way up and through heart center, side to side, Tadasana. Float to 2 more rounds on your own. And for those who would like to try hop back to Chaturanga today, I would say watch first. And simply because this posture is something that a lot of people are kind of fearful of, which can be kind of detrimental if you're doing it wrong. So I would sit into chair pose. And exhale, fold over, just like everything else. Inhale, lengthen spine. And exhale, bend into the legs, fold over the legs. Bring the hands by your sides, but keep some bend into your elbows. So never jump in the straight elbows. Bend into your elbows first. Then kick your feet toward the back, but more importantly, you pull your chest forward. Inhale, chest forward. And exhale, downward facing dog. So every time when you jump, make sure you keep your elbows bent and chest pulling forward. Kick the heels back. So again, you're not missing out that much if you're not exactly following my cues. And during the free flow, make sure that you still give yourself that quiet moment to reflect. It's through this kind of reflective moment that we can distinguish between foolishness and courageousness. Take your time to finish your flow. If you arrived early, you can come back to that intentional Tadasana. And if it serves you better, you can also come into Malasana Yoga Squat. That's where we're gonna meet. And when you arrived in Malasana Yogi squat, press the palms together and elbows inside the thigh bones. Perhaps take a deep breath in and close the eyes. And think about what are some of the fears that you've been having through your practice. And if you feel like you tend to be a person that always fear of missing out, so you have to try a lot of things that even though your body is not ready for, see if you can just sit this one out quietly with peacefulness. And if you tend to be a person always sitting out because you're afraid crashing to your face or hurt ankle or all those legit reasons, we'll try Bakasana crow pose today. And we do not want to just jump over the fear like without any support. So if you want, you can spread a blanket in front of you so you know that even if you fall, there's something soft that catch you. And also step yourself onto blocks to give yourself a little bit lift with your hips. And bring the elbows down as shoulder distance. Keep bend into your elbows. And bring your knees into your upper arm bones and lift your hips up. And start slowly, shift your weight forward, gaze toward the front. Slightly gaze actually the line between your hands slightly forward. You can start lifting one leg up for the heel toward the sit bone and rest it down. Then you can try the other side. Either way, give it a try if you tend to sit out as one always. Isn't it interesting that we know that we're not that far away from the ground? But oftentimes when our brain is lower than our heart, that kind of fear get intensified. So wherever you are, come back to Malasana. Hands down, lift your tailbones up, shimmy your feet, prepare with each other, shoulders descend again, and rise all the way up. If you're still playing, take your time. And eventually we'll meet at the front of the mat. Take a deep inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, sit your tailbones down back into Uttanasana, chair pose. Press the palms together. And exhale, bring the right elbow to the left thigh and twisting to the left. Press into the palms to each other and spread the collarbones. Keep hugging both knees into each other. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, release everything, fold over the legs. You can have the blocks at the front if you need it. You can stack your elbows on top of each other. You can also bring the hands behind the skull just to give the back of the legs a little bit stretch. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Next, and step your right leg back. You can move the blocks accordingly so they're right underneath your shoulders. Come into runner's lunge. Release your right knee down. This is also where you can spread a blanket underneath your right knee to get some extra cushion. Pull the chest forward into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Next, you'll pin your left hip back. Pull pull your left toes towards you. Press the left heel into the ground. Inhale, bend into left knee again. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. Runner's lunge. Exhale, straighten both legs and pull your left toes towards you, left heel into the ground. Kind of like pyramid pose, but you're on the ball of your right foot and the heel of your left foot. Back into a low lunge. We'll flow in between. Inhale, pull the chest forward. And exhale, sit back into a half split. Straighten your left leg, left toes towards you. Inhale, chest forward, bend into left leg, lift your right knee up, keep chest open. And exhale, fold over the straightened left leg, pyramid pose variation. Release down to the ground, low lunge. Next, exhale, sit back into a half split. Inhale, pull chest forward, lift your back knee up. Next, exhale, straighten both legs, pull the left toes towards you. And release down to your low lunge. Flow one more round on your own. Be true to your breathing pace. Next time when you're down to low lunge, come into half split. You can stay here. And also sit your hips onto the right heel. Option to stay here. Stretch the bottom of your right foot. Option to lift your left leg up. Option to lift one hand or even both hands up, which requires a ton of concentration. Release your left foot down. Come bend into your left leg again. Both hands down and step your left foot back into a down dog split. And release your left foot down. And rock forward into a high plank. Step your right foot in. Step your left foot in. If you need to, you can release your knees down to the ground. Press into the palms evenly. One more big inhale. Next, release everything down, sit onto your heels. You can come back to the camel pose, hands behind you, press the chest up, press the pelvis up. You can also come into a more traditional camel pose. Hands behind you, palms facing your sacrum and your fingertips pointing up. I'll face it this way so you can see it. Hugging the elbows towards each other. Press your pelvis toward the front. Imagine there's a block for you to clench on between your knees. Option to stay here. Option to release one hand or both hands onto the heels. Just let your head hang. Continue press your pelvis toward the front and lift your chest up. To come out, press your palms onto your sacrum first. Tuck your chin into the chest and standing all the way up. And because it was a deep back bending, so we're not going to jump into any forward bending right away. So come into a table first. Pull your navel toward the spine. So we can bring things into neutral first. And then you can start press into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you can step by step, you can hop or whatever other ways you like to. Come back into the front of the mat. Once you arrive at the front of the mat, inhale, arms up by the ears. Exhale, sit into chair. Reaching forward through the fingertips and reaching toward the back through the tailbones. And press the palms together. And exhale, twisting the left side of the right side. Left elbow onto the top of right thigh. Use the press between the palms to help to keep the collarbones open. And notice if there's fear rising, fear of falling out of this. And knowing that it's no big deal if you're falling out of this. You're only, I would say, a feet or 2 feet away from the ground. And fold over the legs. Can stack your elbows over each other. You can switch the stack if you remember how you did last time. And also grab the back of your skull with your hands. Swing side to side. And find the blocks if you have them. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Next, step your left foot back. Release your left knee down. Pull the chest forward into a low lunge. Hands on the blocks, adjust the position of blocks so your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Take your time to adjust this low lunge so you're opening the space of the left front hip and stretching the left quadriceps. Next, pin your right hip back, straighten your right leg, press into the right heel, pull the right toes towards you. Inhale, bend into the right leg again. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, into a runner's lunge. Next, straighten both legs. Stay on the ball of your left foot. Lift the ball of your right foot with the right leg being straight. Pyramid pose. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose variation. Flow in between. And next time when you're back into a low lunge, sit back into a half split. Option to stay here. Option to walk the block slowly toward the back. You can sit onto your back heel. Make sure your back toes are tucked so you can get the bottom of your left foot stretched. Option to stay here. Option to lift your right leg up. Option to lift one or both hands to prayer in front of your heart. And release your right foot down. Bend into your right leg again. Bring both hands down. And step your right foot back. Release your right foot down into a downward facing dog. And rock forward into a high plank. First of all, you can just play around here as well, but only if you don't have wrist issues. You can try to tap right shoulder with the left hand. You can try the other side, right hand, tap your left shoulder. Just to play around if how you feel with just one hand supporting all this weight. You can also step your left foot in, your right foot in into that table with knees away from the ground. And here, as same, you can also try to tap the opposite shoulder with one hand. Whenever you're done, release both knees down and sit under the heels. And here's your choice. If you like to try the camel with hands on the ground, or if you want to try traditional camel with your hands on your sacrum. Either way, maybe stay 2 to 3 rounds of long breath. So take your time in this back bending. And my final order is Urdhva Dhanurasana, wheel pose. And as always, you can just stick to the camel poses I just demoed. And if you feel like your spine cannot take more back bending, you can come lie down on your back. You can stay on the block for supported bridge, which is going to continue to give your chest opening. But if you like to try wheel pose and you have never done it before, sit up and watch me demo first. So either you come to a bridge pose or supported bridge or wheel pose, bring the heels close to your sit bones. And from here, if you want to come to bridge pose, you can just lift your hips up. And if you like to come to wheel pose, bring the hands behind your shoulders. And we've been practicing pushing knees toward each other, so continue to do it here. And just like Chaturanga, continue to press the elbows toward each other, even though it's a weird direction right now. And lift your hips up first. Then press into the palm, just like we did all the high plank or single hand plank. Shift weight onto those wrists. And come up onto the crown of the head first. You can adjust here. Continue to press the elbows toward each other. And if you feel like you got it, then you press the pelvis up and straighten the arms. And press the chest toward the direction. Should be, right now it's back of me. So the chest is supposed to go towards the direction of the hands. And lift your pelvis up. 3 to 5 rounds of breath here. And to come out, tuck your chin into the chest first. Release the crown of the head down. And release your hips down. So whichever back bending you choose to, 2 more rounds on your own, which does not have to be the same back bend. You can do 1 round of wheel, 1 round of bridge, 1 round of supported bridge. But wheel pose is going to be the one that changes the most of the fear of brain below the heart. Once you're done with either way, come lie down onto your back, especially if you were in a camel pose. Hugging the knees into the chest. Just rock side to side. Draw some circles onto your back before we move to the next, before we kind of slow down. I said kind of because unlike usual, we're gonna do a little bit core work at the end of the day because it helps to neutralize our spine, especially after those big back bending. Once you arrived onto your back, if you have a block, this is totally optional. Bring the block between your feet and hover your knees over your hips, so your thigh bones are perpendicular to the floor, and your shin bones are kind of parallel to the ground. Option to stay here. Pull the navel toward the spine into the ground. So if there's something underneath your lumbar right now, you shouldn't be able to pull it out. Option to stay here. Option to extend both legs long. And bend your right legs into 90 degrees again. Inhale, kick it along. Continue to pull the navel toward the spine. And exhale, bend your legs in. With the pace of your own breathing, continue on your own. We'll see if we can reach 8. I lost my counting. Let's just do 2 more. Release the block. You have the block between your feet. And step your feet down. Just at the beginning, hugging the left knee into the chest with the left pinky outside. But this time without the block underneath your sacrum. Extend your right leg long. And lift your chest up towards the knee. So your shoulder blades will be slightly off on the ground. Point both toes. And we'll switch, bend your right knee into the chest. Straighten your left leg. We'll switch in between. You can bring the hands floating by the sides. If your head needs support, you can bring the hands, create a basket behind the head. Let's do 3 more times on each side. Release the shoulders back to the ground and hugging the knees in. Oof. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let everything out. Release the feet to the ground. Cross your right knee right ankle with the left knee and use the right hand, gently push the right knee open. Take a couple more long breaths here. Once you're ready, pull the left knee and right leg into the chest. Feed your right arm between that window and clasp your hands with the right pinky outside in front of your left shin. And open the elbows to the sides. Pull the left knee even a little bit closer to you. And the push of the right elbow will help to maintain that right knee to be open. Press the tailbones toward the ground. And whenever you're ready, you can release from it. Make sure it's released slowly instead of slingshot. And release your right ankle and left knee to the left side and open the elbows, open the arms, and gaze through the right shoulder, right hand all the way to the right side. Continue to press the right knee open. And just let things sinking down in your body. Especially if you tend to be a person that often skips cooling down or even rest. What are you fearful of? Challenge yourself to sit or lie down with that little bit quietness a little bit longer today. And start slowly bring yourself back to center. And cross the left ankle over the right knee. Use the left hand, gently press the left knee open. And as I was mentioning before, that fear is essential to our survival, so we don't get ourselves into danger all the time, and we know when to fly. But we also don't want to be trapped in that fear, like the person who is afraid of a rope after got bit by the snake maybe 10 years ago. And feed your left arm to the window. Clasp your hands with the left pinky outside in front of the right shin. And pull the right knee towards the chest. Make sure you continue to flex the left foot. And open the elbows to the side. Whenever you're ready, release from the bind. Release the left ankle and the right knee to the right side. Open the arms, gaze through the left shoulder, left hand, all the way to the far left. Continue to press left knee open. And after a couple of long breaths, start slowly bring yourself back to center. If there's any other symmetric posture you'd like to include in your practice day, please go for it. It can be one last hugging the knees into the chest. It can be happy baby. Whenever you're ready, spread your legs, your arms out. Grab anything that will make yourself comfortable in this Shavasana. It can be a blanket over your pelvis. It can be blocks underneath your knees. Shavasana. Whenever you're ready. So wiggle your toes, your fingertips. And gently sway your head side to side. Carefully bend one leg and another. And roll onto the side of your choice. Use your hand to guide yourself, come up into a comfortable seat. Perhaps eyes still closed. In the next couple more long breaths, sit with your responses to those fearful moments through the practice today. Without any judgment. And just let those practices serve as a container that how you navigate through your life off the mat through those fearful moments. And if it resonates gesture with for you, gather the hands in front of the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let everything out. And bow your head toward the heart. And when you're ready, slowly blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight. Now I hope to see you again next week.